It's morning here in New York. It's early morning, about 6:30, and I just got back from Baltimore for my mastermind group, which is where I lock myself in a conference room with a bunch of other highly successful restaurateurs, and we share all kinds of marketing ideas, operational ideas. We share everything about our business and learn and grow from each other. Well, I'm back here early in New York the next day to go give a speech. I'm giving this speech to a bank today, to their business clients. And I'm giving a talk on my book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make, book I wrote a few months ago. I love helping people, and that's how I originally started writing this book, and the website 50mistakes.com, because I just love giving back and helping, because everything I know that I've learned, the mistakes I've made, the mistakes I've corrected, have all come from other people teaching me, or self-awareness to the fact that I was making that mistake and trying to improve upon my business techniques. And my mastermind group, all we do is share and give. So as a way of giving back, 50mistakes.com is a free website, tons and tons and tons of videos on there. It's a really cool website that gets a lot of attention from all over the world. I get emails from all over the world. Thank you, Marcus. I opened a restaurant in India. I opened this in Texas, and your website's been so instrumental. So I followed up with the book, 50mistakes.com, 50 Mistakes Business Owners Make. And I'm actually going to talk to a business group today from a bank. A bank has hired me to come in and speak to their business clients, pitch to, give the books out to the audience. The bank bought a bunch of books. So people are saying, well, Marcus, what do you talk about? You have 50 mistakes in the book. What are the most important mistakes not to make? That's always a good question, because any mistake could be detrimental to your business. Any of the big mistakes, and sometimes there's the small mistakes just add up and add up. And quite honestly, I don't really prep for speeches. I do several speeches. I'm always doing a speech here or there. And I never really prep my speeches to, I do have PowerPoints sometimes, but I never really study and prep like certain people. It just flows naturally. And I like to do a lot of Q&A in my talks, so I can actually be of value to the people that are in the audience and answer specific questions. But the one thing that really resonates with me, with any business out there, is your story. And what is your story of why you're in business? How did you get there? What is the story about the products that you use? And storytelling is so underrated, I believe. And I definitely think I'm going to talk about storytelling today. There's a couple other things. I'll probably talk about three of the top things. First, I'm going to feel the audience out and see what kind of businesses are in the audience. And the book, 50 Mistakes, covers a lot of audiences. However, I'm a restaurateur, so I do get specific in there about a lot of restaurant operations. So for restaurateurs, it's very specific. But I think stories are the one big thing that are totally underrated in any industry. Is what is your story? I'm not saying lie. Seth Godin has a book called All Marketers Are Liars, and I don't believe he says to lie in that book either. I've read it once, maybe twice. I love Seth Godin stuff, and it's just about being able to convey the story that you're telling. So for me, for instance, the reason why we serve healthier food is because I had a lot of health issues back when I was 28 years old, 15, 16 years ago. And I reversed every single medical condition through my diet. But I was a professional chef, and I had a very conflict of interest in, was I going forward cooking crap food for my guests where I make my living, but I wouldn't eat my own food that I was cooking? So that was a conflict that I was in. So that's like a selling point in a story. And it was like at 28 years old, I had to refigure, and I'm still young at 28, but I had to refigure everything I was taught in culinary school. And I was in the industry since I was 13 years old. So it's 15 years of experience in the industry that I had to relearn and rethink and totally find my new niche in cooking. And of course, people saw that I became much thinner, that I was off my meds, that I was able to run, I didn't have asthma. So people became interested in my story. Marcus, why, they kept asking me, what did you do? What did you do? And what did you do? And I'm like, well, the food I'm cooking is what I basically did in my lifestyle. So that's a huge story of why we got here at Aroma Time. There's a story why we got here in Ellenville. My wife and I are both from the village of Ellenville, so it's a homecoming for us. There's a reason why there's so many certain tequilas behind our bar, vodkas, gins. There's a reason why we buy local. There's a reason why we're green certified. And these are all stories that help depict our brand and our mission. So storytelling, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I don't have much time because I have to get to this speech. Storytelling is one of my favorite components in business. and it should be in yours too. You know, I was cooking with my grandmother at 5 years old. I rolled pasta out with her at 5 years old. That's a story. That's one of the reasons I became a chef, because I loved food and I'm from an Italian family. And these are all things that you should have depicted in your business, not only if you're a restaurateur, but any kind of business, of why, you know, you're bringing in tiles from marble tiles from whatever country, and maybe a visit, a picture, a blog, a video of you personally there at the tile source, or wherever you're buying from a company in Texas, and the relationship you have, and this and that. I mean, even Budweiser had a story about their Beechwood chips. As large as they were, they bought their Beechwood chips from one provider. I think he was in Tennessee, and that's who they used for their Beechwood chips. However, when Budweiser was sold and it became InBev, that Beechwood provider was immediately dismissed, and InBev went with their corporate supplier. But that, believe it or not, that Beechwood provider knew he was going out of business, because that was his main client. He actually threw a party. He threw a retirement party, or going out of business party, and he actually invited the new CEO of InBev, Budweiser, and of course the CEO did not show up. But that's a story. And if he stayed in business, keeping doing what he was doing, that's a story. Hey, I invited the CEO of InBev, Budweiser, to my place to celebrate with me, or do a closing sale, or any kind of celebration. He didn't show up. I invited him. And so what I'm saying is, don't lie, don't fabricate, but look for the stories, because the stories are totally in your business. And I got to head to this speech. Talk to everyone later. Leave your comments of your story, or any kind of business tips that you like.